Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the introductory webinar of the Fraymedia Foundation Mentor Program. We're really pleased to see you all here. I think that you're going to find yourself in really stellar company. I was busy writing just a column this morning because I've been literally doing the mentor-mentee pairings without any kind of technological assistance. And so making, drawing little Excel spreadsheets and clustering people into different sectors and different skills, and then looking at the mentors who have those skills and looking at the mentees who need the skills and pairing them together. And I think I have no doubt that there is some AI program that would probably do that a lot faster than what I'm doing at the moment. But that process of just being really intentional and going through the mentoring process has been really useful for me, because I have such a really clear vision of who is in the program, what their needs are, and how we can make the program really work for them, that I have to say that I'm incredibly pleased that we brought together such a great selection of people. We reached out and we asked for women to mentor women. And one of the things that really surprised me was that we also got men who volunteered. And so that's been a really interesting thing for me to see how well, not just the men, but also the women who volunteered, the high level of skills that we're actually talking about. So incredibly pleased to be here today, incredibly pleased to be launching the program officially. I'm expecting mentors and mentees to come together next year. And so today is just a session to give you some idea of what we're expecting. We're really honored to have executive coach Marie Rosholt here with us. She's going to just really talk about how to work as a pair, and I'll introduce Marie a bit later, but she's a perfect person to be giving us advice, simply because she has not only the coaching experience, but also extensive broadcast experience, and so really understands the pressures of the sector we are in. So many of you know me from Frayintermedia or from Fray College, but I'm wearing a completely different hat for this program. In fact, if you didn't know, I have stepped back from Frayintermedia and I've stepped back from Fray College. Both of those are being run by other people, and I am basically supporting. I'm one of 3 founding directors of Fraymedia Foundation, supporting the foundation's work. And the idea for the foundation really came about when we realized how difficult it was for women to sustain their leadership in the sector. And by, a few years ago, South Africa, for example, had 60% of our editors and senior management were women. No, 60% of our editors. And within a very short time, we went back to about 21%. And so even though we've seen incredible progress in terms of the number of women in media across the continent, we still see a lot of pushback in terms of that. And so myself and two women who worked with me on the city desk of the Star newspaper many years ago, Shamila Bhagavat, who went on to become managing editor of the Mail and Guardian, and Bongiwe Malangeni, who worked at the Sunday Times and then at SABC, and was the founding executive director of the Social Justice Initiative. We kind of came together and said, we want to put together all of our experience and our networks to really start a foundation that would really be about women helping women and about increasing the number of women in leadership positions, the number of women who own the media. We're very serious about looking for grants for women to have media startups, the number of women who run media-related companies, and then also the number of women who actually appear in the media and not just in very, very influential format. So the Fraymedia Foundation really is to promote the emergence and the sustainability of women-led and women-owned commercial and non-commercial businesses in order to support a very, very vibrant media landscape. This year has been our first year of operations. We've started off with a series of breakfasts in Johannesburg, where we've been bringing women media leaders, media owners together together with big business leaders to really get a sense of what are the demands of scaling, of producing a media entity and then scaling. Those we had one a month, and those breakfasts, we're now talking to people in Cape Town, in Durban, for South Africa, and we're hoping to have a grant-making process where women can host breakfasts in their own country, and then invite business leaders to come and speak to them. A lot of the business leaders who we actually had as guests were quite surprised. It was the first time they were sitting around the table and really engaging with women only, and talking business with women only. The breakfasts have been really good. We've learned so much from that. We've learned that sometimes smaller groups with intimate discussions build better connections. The women in those breakfasts have begun to use each other, but we're hoping to be able to scale those breakfasts with more newsletters, advice booklets, etc., that come out of the breakfast. We've also been given a grant from the Wraith Foundation to develop a database of women in media and what their specific needs are, and we're in the process of completing that research. And from that research, we'll be able to say these are, in fact, the kinds of interventions we need in order to have a real impact on women in media. The mentorship program is part of the foundation's work. We're doing this as a pilot project, but what I'm hoping is that we'll be able to formalize this and really do it as a catalytic intervention to have more and more women actually, and to build a network of women that help women. And then if you have any ideas of what we can do to get more women featured in media, to get more women to sustain their media enterprises, or even to be promoted within media, please reach out and speak to us. We want to partner with you. We don't see ourselves in a competitive space. We want to partner with you. If we can support you to get funding for your business, we will. If we can support you in any way to raise the visibility of the work you're doing as an organization, we want to do that. Because Shamila Bange and I are quite determined that this would not be an organization that exists in order to exist, that spends all its energy and effort to fundraise for administration. We've been very, very lucky. We are incubated at frayintermedia. The staff there are supporting us with a lot of the administration, and so our administrative costs are virtually zilch. We also want to harness the skills that we have, that the people who we know have, so that we're not actually spending money to support the existence of an organization, but we're actually spending money on supporting women in media. Next year, 2024, we're also hoping to be able to start grant making. We want to look at grants for storytelling. We want to also look at grants for women to be able to start up their own businesses, not just in in media, in the production of news, but also in social media, in various shapes and forms of storytelling. And so, but also in communications at large. So we see this as an ecosystem that supports the bigger real search for having women really influencing the dominant narratives across the African continent. And so lots and lots of activities happening behind the scenes. We've been speaking to a lot of different people. Today, in fact, we were asked to put together a proposal for media management support, but we're also continuing to really to say nothing is too small. If there's something, if you want us to pitch up at something you're doing, you know, if we're available, we want to do that, because we really do feel that what we need to do is to build a network of women media leaders in all shapes and forms, and we need to support each other in that endeavor. And so that's part of the process. The mentoring program really is part of that pay it forward process. And it's been really interesting because the people who have volunteered, some people are absolutely new. I've never met them before. Some people we've crossed paths in other programs, but the generosity of support has been incredible. So the mentorship program is really about fostering growth and development amongst media professionals. And the structure really is that we will pair you, we will pair mentors with mentees, and then really encourage you to have regular sessions together. One of the things that we will do to make sure that we give mentors as much support as possible is we'll send out fortnightly newsletters for the first 6 months, where we really will be giving you ideas of the kinds of things that you can be doing together and the discussions that you might want. We are also going to be gathering resources, not just for the mentees, but also for the mentors. We are gathering resources around grant making. We're gathering resources about transformative leadership, and then we'll be checking in with you as much as possible. When we asked the mentees to fill out the application form, we also wanted to find out what kind of support they wanted. And we've identified support that goes beyond mentoring, actually capacity building support. And so we'll be offering that support over the next few months, where we're going to be having about 4 different capacity building sessions that will support the mentees, and the mentors are also welcome to join. So we have 64 mentees. We had a couple of duplications. We've got 48 mentors. We've got more mentors since, because we had some specialist skills like we have some specialist skills like a Portuguese speaker that we needed. We needed more people in advertising, etc. So we had to reach out to people who hadn't volunteered, but who are supportive of the process. The joining mentors and mentees has taken a bit longer. Some people are off, some people and people aren't really responding as quickly as they might do outside of the holiday period. But we've already have 40 pairs, more than 40. In fact, I just before this session introduced a few more people to each other. And the reason for that is because we're not simply pairing people and introducing them. We're making sure with the mentor that they're the right person for the mentee, that there is a good fit. And in a couple of spaces, some people did in fact come back and say, I think my skills might be better placed with somebody with this kind of requirements. So the program officially starts in January. And if you have had a chance to look at the resources, there is a mentor-mentee handbook that you can use to guide yourself. It starts off with allowing you to set goals with one another, and then just supports in terms of the check-ins, etc. I'm going to just stop there. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I really want to introduce you we have a guest speaker today who's going to be really just giving us a sense of how we can, in fact, make the most of the mentorship program. And so based on that, I really want to start off today's session by introducing you to our guest speaker, Marie Rosholt. So those of you who don't know her, she is an exceptional individual with a rich background across both education and media, and I'm not going to go through her academic journey except to say that it's incredibly impressive, but that she, apart from her work, her BA honors, for example, in history, she's also done things like documentary filmmaking at the New School for Social Research in New York. Her experience is extensive. She's a seasoned filmmaker, but she's also and well-versed in the television industry. So really reflects this deep understanding of the media landscape. As an academic, she combines, I think, practical industry experience with that kind of scholarly insight, understanding what is necessary for executive coaching. And so I'm really pleased that she has volunteered to come here today and really share with us her experience. And so, Marie, over to you.
Paula, thank you very much for that introduction. Mentorship is very close to my heart because during my 40-year career in television, I have mentored a number of people, and to this day, we are still friends, you know, the people that I've mentored. Anyway, I've been asked to speak on how to make the most of your mentoring and partnership. And mentoring happens in the space of personal development, but it is a two-way street, and it should be beneficial to both the mentor and the mentee. Yesterday, I took part in a webinar, the subject of which was mentoring in the age of AI. And so it was very interesting, but the panelists were unanimously of the opinion that AI could never take the place of human connection. And I found that very comforting. They agreed that AI could assist with the administration or the preparation of the interaction and repetitive tasks, but it could never replace picking up the phone or having a face-to-face meeting. In a professional environment, mentorship is a collaborative partnership where a senior person guides and shares their knowledge, skills, and advice with a less experienced employee to develop and fulfill their potential and empower them. Now, at the risk of addressing what you already know, I gather that there are experienced mentors in the room. I will summarize the role of the mentor. And a mentor plays different roles depending on the mentee's needs. But being a role model is a very important aspect of it, and being a sounding board, but also a career advisor, and challenging the mentee, you know, on a regular basis. But a mentor has to be shown to be dependable, be empathetic, be patient, be warm and engaging, provide encouragement, be supportive, motivate, show humor, be a mensch, in other words. I think counseling sums up the mentor's role very accurately. But it's important to display genuine interest in your mentee and be present at every meeting. Give the mentee your total attention. Don't dominate. But being a mentee also has a responsibility. So be open to, as a mentee, to the possibility that your mentor might encourage you to aspire to greater things. And don't expect immediate results, because it takes a long time and develops over time. It helps to have emotional intelligence and to take initiative in the relationship, but to develop a plan with your mentor and take responsibility for your career goals. Most important, I think, is that a mentee displays enthusiasm, knows what they want to achieve. Not exactly, but more or less the roadmap that they want to go on. Listen to the mentor and respect the mentor. Be honest with the mentor and don't be defensive. Take criticism. And the mentor will always give you constructive criticism. Be sure you understand the mentor and the mentor understands you. Be prepared to explore issues. Accept criticism. And don't be, as I was saying, don't be defensive about it, but display resilience and perseverance and recognize the value of a different perspective. Now, there's a lot of value in mentorship, a mentoring partnership, because there are benefits for the mentee in that they, as I mentioned, it's in the space of personal development, that they're planning a career path, boosting their morale, and it's accelerated career mobility. But it gives them increased career satisfaction and professional competence. There are benefits for the mentor as well. The satisfaction of seeing somebody grow and somebody develop, and learning, because mentorship is like I said, it's a two-way street. Mentorship also has the added advantage of embracing diversity, in where we can honor and celebrate differences, practice cultural humility, ensure equal access and opportunity, be an ally and an advocate, appreciate and honor gender differences, and self-check for unintentional bias. So in summary, I think that the partnership of a mentor and mentee can deliver many positives. So it's most important that the relationship is different. It's different from coaching in that you become quite close. So being a friend, being a counselor, being a political advisor, I don't mean politics, but understanding the politics within an organization. And ultimately, I think that mentors should be very generous and introduce the mentee to their network and make available resources to them.
I want to ask, though, for Caroline Phiri-Lubwika, from who does the Women in News program, to perhaps speak and give some advice in terms of what the Women in News program found worked, and that we can draw on for this mentorship program, because a lot of it, this relationship between mentor and mentee, is not going to be policed by us. It really is something that we're going to expect our mentees and our mentors to drive themselves. So Caroline, I don't know if you want to say a few words, and then if Fatma is able to, love to hear from her also the kinds of advice that she would give to the mentors and the mentees. Caroline?
Yeah, thank you so much, Paula. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to see a good turnout this afternoon. As Paula has already introduced me, my name is Caroline Phiri-Lubwika. I live just next door to Paula here in Botswana, and I'm excited to be here. I work for an organization that called One IFRA, World Association of Publishers, Women in News program. This is a program that advocates for women's representation, their voices in the media and the leadership space. So we do run a mentorship program for our participants of the accelerator program, and they are taken through coaching, mentoring, and networking. But specifically, I'm interested in the mentorship program and what it entails. We've not only given it to the participants of the accelerator program, but also we have run with one IFRA Women in News media partners. And just to mention that Standard Group of Media Group in Kenya has been a shining example in that regard. They are on the second cohort now. They started last year, 2022. And in 2023, they onboarded their second cohort of mentors and mentees within their media organization. Just a caution as, or just a tip, I just want to quote John Crosby, who talks about mentorship. He says, mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. And I hope and pray that we'll go in the right direction as we give our brains to be picked, to be shared with our mentees, as we give a listening ear. It's a mutual understanding, and we are being pushed in the right direction.
I work in one IFRA Women in News program as a leadership coach and a career coach, and also the mentor of the coaches in Arab region. So I think mentorship is the thing that women in media is need, the most important thing they need now. And the thing is, I believe that when the mentor believe in the mentee, she can do her best to help her to growth, both of them all actually. And I already have my experience as a mentor for many years, and I introduced a TOT mentorship for many journalists here in Egypt, women and men, and also another professions. But I think the mentorship is the thing that our world is need now. And the only thing that I believe in, if I believe in myself, in my experience, if I do it from my heart, if I listen well, if I work every day to develop my experience in my profession and in life also, I can give real things that the mentee, whoever who is or she is, from where. And I think Africa need that. Women in media in Africa need to believe in each other, need to build their network. And I believe that I will have a new network, and it will be a very strong step for me to being with you. Coaching is another thing. It's different from mentoring. And most of time, the mentees or the coaches ask to get mentorship, not the coaching. Coaching is depend on your skills as a coach. You shouldn't have the same experience that the coaches need in the same profession. But if you work as a mentor, you should have a great experience in the same field. But both of them, coaching and mentorship, needs the skills of listening to the mentee or the coachee. You don't have to tell them what to do if you are a coach, but guide them to think and discover what they want, and how can they do it in specific time. So in mentorship, you can tell them what to do, but it's not like a higher hand. You just give them an advice. From my experience, I think this will be better than that. But as a coach, you shouldn't do that. You just guide them to think, what is the problem? How can he or she fix it in specific time? In mentorship, you need to give your experience and tell the mentee what is the better to do.
Do you think mentoring should give you the wherewithal to be able to make the most of coaching? Because you know what you want to do, you have confidence, and I think it's very much about building confidence I've found, certainly in my work with the Google News Initiative people and UCLAN on the Journalism Leaders program, that just helping people realize that they can do something is one of the most important things. And even if they come in with that long list that we all seem to have of what I'm not so good at, we can always work with that and overcome that together. So I think that's an important thing for those people who feel unsure in their current work, or not sure where they're going, or simply need that boost to do something completely new, brave, and take a risk. So that's really what I will put into the conversation.
I think part of the reason why we wanted to have this introductory webinar is for you to understand your role as a mentor, as a mentee, and to really, right from the outset, recognize that it is the mentor's role to challenge, to push, to really provoke you to do more as much as possible. I think that if you can, when you're setting your goals, agree on what the outcomes need to be down the line, that's also important. We are mindful of the fact that there were a lot of things that the mentorship program can't give you. And those things are things like social media in journalism. How do you really use social media in impactful ways, or even things like networking strategies. There are a couple of skills-based requirements that people were asking for that we're not really going to, maybe your mentor doesn't have the time, or you know, the mentorship relationship is really not about the mentorship relationship is not about them teaching you to do journalism. It's about really mentoring you to grow your career. So having said that, I think it's really important that you recognize that that there are other platforms within the foundation where we are absolutely going to be looking at how we can support you further from a capacity building point of view. And so, so for you to know that we are mindful of that. But I really do want you to connect with your mentor or your mentee, even just to say hello. My advice to mentees is that your mentor might be busy, and so it's worth your while to be proactive in reaching out to them and checking when they are available, etc., so that you can make sure that you make the most of it. The structured part of this process will be 6 months, and thereafter we're hoping that there will be enough of a relationship for you to continue without us, although you'll always be part of this network. And I would say from the outset that I think that in that initial meeting that you have with your mentor or your mentee, that you actually set those things in terms of what the boundaries are, what the expectations are. I think one of the most important things around a mentoring process is the issue of expectations, because if you're not clear what the relationship is about and what it can and can't do, I mean, you know, you might in fact do things like create unrealistic expectations, etc. And I think the boundaries are quite important. When people contact you, how they contact you, you know, what constitutes an emergency, what constitutes an urgency. I'm the kind of person who wakes up really early in the morning and sends emails then, but it doesn't mean that I want people to respond to me immediately. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to say that on behalf of Shamila Bhagavat, who is our CEO, and Bongiwe Malangeni, who is the chair of our board, I want to thank you all for the mentors, for volunteering of your time and being so generous with your expertise, to Marie Rosholt, who volunteered to come and support us today with this presentation, and then of course to the mentees who really entrusted us with their careers and I hope with the future progress, to say thank you very much to everyone who's here. We will be in touch. If you have not yet received your mentor, please know that that the process, the wheels are actually turning, sometimes slowly, but they are turning. Everyone will have their mentor by the first week of January. All the mentor pairings will hopefully be finalized by then. Thank you very much, everyone. The resources are being updated all the time, so check in there every now and then. But have a good festive season. If you are traveling, please travel safe. And thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you online, I hope, in the new year. Thanks. Bye.